Today's topic is about regaining control over our lives, even though it seems impossible at the moment. We believe that we're stuck because all indications point to that. Every experience that you've gone through has shown you that you are indeed stuck. And so how in the world can we change anything when our finances are in jeopardy, leaving us unable to move forward, or our fears are so deep that they keep us paralyzed? So hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And for those who don't know me, my name is Deanna King, and this channel is all talk narcissism and codependency, and finding little tips and tricks to use along the way on our journey here. And also, if you can relate to this channel, please don't hesitate to click on the subscribe and like button. Thank you. The thing is although things look bleak right now and hopeless and feel as though your life won't change, that is merely a belief, and beliefs can change once we begin to understand not only that it can change, but also how. I've studied the mind for many years because I'm a hypnotherapist. But before we talk about the house, we need to understand what the issue is. And the issue is our incessant thoughts. Yes, our very thoughts. Sometimes we just can't get out of our ruts because we're all in. And what I mean by that is that we are preoccupied all of the time with incessant thoughts regarding the narcissist. We're in these thoughts 24/7. If we've just gone through a fight with our partners, we play the event over and over again in our minds. We go to sleep thinking about it. We wake up and it's the first thought that pops in. And then we can't focus throughout the day because the event does not leave our minds. Sound familiar? As much as we want to get rid of this thought, we just can't let go of the thought. And that is the chemical addiction, aka trauma bond. But don't let that be your excuse for remaining stuck, because all addictions can be overcome. We want to leave the narcissist. We don't want to leave the narcissist. It's cognitive dissonance. We can't make decisions. But it takes willingness. I mean, Louise Hay used to always talk about this and have people repeat, I am willing to change throughout the day. It takes a decision, a concrete decision. In other words, an intention. So back to this fight that you've had with your partner, eventually the dust settles. The narcissist is behaving. And for a little while, you aren't having these incessant thoughts. But is your mind at rest then? Now your mind is in survival mode. We often talk about being in survival mode, but often it's left unclear as to what really survival mode is. The brain sees survival mode in situations where the person may fear for their life, but being in survival mode is way more than that. It entails much more. When your focus is solely on them and you're doing whatever you can to please them because you want them in a good mood when they come home at the end of the day, that is being in survival mode. And you might believe that you're doing these wonderful things from the bottom of your big heart, and partially you are, but the survival part of you is doing it for the acknowledgement. And it isn't that you're selfish or self-motivated. You're hungry. You have spent a lifetime starved for attention, never being seen, never being loved for being just you. That's been your experience. You've been programmed. You always had to prove your worthiness. Later on, you become attracted to those who ignore you a little bit in their own way, and you see that as confidence. You're attracted to it because that confidence is something that you feel is lacking in you. And furthermore, on a subconscious level, you're attracted to them because you are still trying to fix what broke inside of you when you were a child. You're still trying to prove to mother or father that you are worthwhile. And the reason that you're still trying to prove that you're worthwhile to them is because when we are young, the parent makes all the decisions. They are our first gods, if you will. And by their actions, you understand that they have decided that you were not enough. So not only are you trying to prove to them that you are enough, you are trying to prove it to yourself because you believe them. I mean, if God is taking care of you and God is the source from how you get your food and your safety, a roof over your head. So if sometimes they're kind of ignoring you and they're busy with their stuff, it causes confusion. Because even though in your little hearts you know it isn't right, children know things. The other part is programmed to believe that there is no other place. These people are bigger, they're more powerful than I am. And later on it becomes a programming, and you learn survival mode as a child. Being in survival mode isn't just doing for others either. It goes deeper than that. It's also saying no to yourself because you're afraid that others will be upset with you. I mean, go back in time, go back in your memories, not just with your partner here. Go back when you were little. Aren't those the same feelings that you were feeling? You don't go for that drive. You won't buy that thing that you really wanted. You don't go out with friends in fear of their responses. In order to survive a quieter day, you sacrifice everything you want. Being in survivor mode also entails reframing from talking about the things that you would like and even need to talk about. When you're in a narcissistic relationship, your whole life is about them. There is no you. It's all survival. Stuck is stuck. This stuckness, it bleeds in every area of your life. For example, you physically can't leave because the money is gone, like I said in the beginning, as they've taken control of your finances. Some might say that all you have to do is to get a job or a higher paying job, but you're stuck in that area also because whatever little belief you had in yourself before meeting the narcissist is gone. You also no longer believe that you can make it without them. They have programmed you that way. Don't let them anymore. The only thing for you to do, it seems, at this point is to find ways to survive the days. So you keep your mind in busy mode, whether that's overdoing shopping or binge watching Netflix, social media, etc. You are stuck. You are stuck in your mind, and that keeps you stuck physically. Let me repeat that. You are stuck in your mind, and that keeps you stuck physically. There's a book called Hypnotizing Maria by Richard Bach, the author who wrote Jonathan Livingston Seagull. And in the book, he has this character, Jamie Forbes, who believed that he couldn't be hypnotized. So he steps onto the stage along with other volunteers, thinking he's just going to be polite and indulge the hypnotist. Now, the hypnotist succeeds in hypnotizing him, and he has him step into a room in his mind. And the room is made up of stone walls, and it has no windows, and the door disappears after he's entered. The hypnotist from outside of the room asks him if he can find his way out. He tells him to try pushing the wall, but the more he pushes the wall, the harder the stones become, making it impossible for him to escape. So now the hypnotist proceeds to tell him that there is a way, and perhaps he could try climbing over, but that also proves to be impossible. So he suggests to try tunneling it, but Jamie cannot. Again, the hypnotist tells him that there is a way out. So he pounces and kicks, trying to force his way out, but to no avail. And then the hypnotist, agreeing to help him, says, "Jamie, walk through the wall." And of course, at that point, Jamie's thinking the hypnotist is nuts here, but the hypnotist persisted. He says, "Jamie, you don't remember this, but you've been hypnotized. There are no walls around you. The walls are in your mind. You can walk through as long as you believe that you can," and reminds him that he volunteered for this. At which point the hypnotist brings him back by merely having him take a few calming breaths and focus on the one moment of now. Let that sink in. Bringing him back to reality. The moment of now is everything. It's your connection, and it's how you get your answers. But anyway, on another note here, let's keep going. See, when we enter a space of solitude, we immediately stop the chatter in our minds, where we find answers, and sometimes, many times, answers we didn't even know that we had questions to. Successful people make it a habit of quieting the mind and being in the moment. They might go for walks to process whatever needs to be processed. Other times they may go golfing to completely empty their mind of any concerns they have, because answers cannot come when the head is too full. There's a story in the way of the Peaceful Warrior, great book by the way. Socrates pours tea into Dan's cup, and the cup overflows as he keeps pouring, and there's just tea spilled all over the place. Lesson being, is that you cannot put more tea in the cup unless you empty some out. And emptying the mind can be done through meditation. And I'm not saying that you have to sit for hours and meditate. I get it. You're in survival mode and focus isn't easy, but little moments, being in the moment and being present. Come back to self. Stop giving the energy to them. Come back to the heart center. You don't have to force yourself and try to spend your days like that, but just little steps. Little steps may seem like nothing, but they are everything. And these small steps are the steps that will lead you out of the rut that you're in. You can start with a few minutes a day doing coherent breathing, which is simply placing your focus on your heart center and breathing in through the nose for perhaps 4 seconds in, followed by the exhale, which will be the same amount of seconds as the in-breath. And that right there will bring your cortisol levels down, where you'll be able to start to think straight. You can find a lot of videos on YouTube with coherent breathing. They really are just a few minutes, and only a few minutes a day will bring down the cortisol levels for hours. I think it was 3 minutes of doing this would bring the cortisol levels for eight hours, something like that. So I recommend that you do this in the morning. That's what I do. Now, as you go on with your day, you're going to want to take moments during the course of the day where you're just going to stop. Just stop whatever you're doing and be present to the moment. Even if you're doing dishes, stop, leave your hands in the water and just take a few breaths. It's really important. If it's summertime, make a cup of tea and sit outside. And when you sit outside, take some breaths to calm your mind. And then look around. Look for beauty. Look for things to appreciate. Quiet the mind and be here now. If putting on some relaxing music like Reiki music helps you center, then do that. If you're indoors, burn incense. This changes the environment and it connects you to self. You might be inspired to write. Make a list of things. You're giving yourself the space here. This is what you're doing. So make a list of things that you're grateful for, or write what comes. Get in touch with your emotions. Listen for guidance. Ask for guidance. Whatever comes, right? Keep finding ways to calm the mind. Throw in some headphones and go for a walk. Just being in a different environment can help shift the energy. It can help you get out of your head. Go to the beach. Again, look for beauty. When we look for beauty, we find ourselves in appreciation. And when we're in a state of appreciation, we enter a state of love. When we are in a state of love, we are connected to self, connected to God or our higher power, Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it. Answers come, ideas come, perceptions are changed, empowerment happens, we change, breathe. The breath will still the mind. And these things that I'm mentioning here may seem like nothing, but don't be so quick to dismiss such a simplicity. This is your ticket. Being in the moment is the key that will open door number 1. Are you willing to change, to change your surroundings? These little moments are everything. It will take you to the next step and then the next. And this is how you begin to get unstuck, because like I just said, ideas will come to you. Empowering moments will come. Clarity, understanding, motivation. You'll become more intuitive. You'll begin to respond to situations rather than react because you'll become calmer, wiser. And think about it. The narcissist is not going to change. He or she is not going to change. So the only way that you can get your life to change is go within and start changing you. And watch the magic unfold. Watch the journey. So this is my message to you today. When you take time to do these things, you are placing attention on your priorities, not theirs. You're giving the energy to yourself. When you focus on those priorities, the universe will help you tenfold, because you are putting it out there that you matter. And the universe always gives back to you what you put out. What we're putting out on a vibrational frequency. Because if we're always in a state of guilt or frustration or resentment or sadness or anger, we're in survival mode. We don't have the energy to move forward. I personally make it a habit to find spaces all over my day to connect with self like that. And that's where I get all my downloads, or as Oprah would call it, the aha moments. When I connect this way, I'm also connecting to God, or my higher power, if you prefer that term. I find that if I'm not connected, the ego takes over and I'm less loving, or I make hastier decisions. I feel less joy and I go about my day just getting tasks done. But you know what? I prefer doing my tasks with feeling, where I have a sense of purpose. And in those moments, I feel a blissful peace within me. When I commit to stopping whatever I'm doing, if I'm feeling frustrated, the presence of self shows me what's really going on. So listen to those feelings. If you feel frustrated, that's a good time to start breathing and go internally for a bit. Sometimes it's another layer of issues and tissues that need to be released so that you can regain clarity and composure in your day. Being present to the moment also keeps me on guard for anyone out there attempting to manipulate me. I'm able to catch it right away. And lastly, it keeps me creative. You can spend hours trying to figure out how to write an essay, for example, but when you can be present to the now, the writing just flows. Answers just come. Okay, so I am done babbling for today. So get going on you, because you deserve good in your life, no matter what hypnosis that you're under. You can always reprogram your mind. So I'm going to do another video probably in a couple of days of part 2. I'm going to keep talking about this very subject about incessant thoughts. I feel like we need to go deeper, and I just don't want to be doing an hour video. Some people don't want the whole hour. So I'll split it in 2, and I'll see what I have to say next week, and so will you. So bye for now.